So I wanted to come on here and talk about these idols that y'all worship. We're looking at this guy, Charlamagne. Anybody would name themselves the God? Well, I automatically question that. Like your self-proclaimed king, LeBron James, I automatically question that. Because you do not give yourself those titles. Your peers, which is very important. Your peers give you those titles. And what I wanted to come on here and talk about is these people, these millionaires, multimillionaires. In the case of one LeBron James, a billionaire, coming on here in any social media platforms that he has, because he has millions of followers, hundreds of millions of followers. And they're coming on here and they're telling you you're a victim. You're a victim of racism and classism and all of these type of things. Well, I do think classism is a thing more than racism. Racism is just not it. Racism is just not it. Now, does racism exist? Absolutely. Racism definitely exists. Does white supremacy exist? Definitely it exists. But sit up here and tell me in a factual way that racism and white supremacy affects you in your daily life, because that's what it's really about. The way you go about your day-to-day business. Tell me racism, white supremacy affects you in your everyday life. I would venture to say it just does not. If you want to say that it affects you at your job, okay, let's talk about that. That is still a job that you chose to have. You made that choice, just like me and most people out here. We made a choice to go by rules, regardless who the rules are set by, regardless. And I don't think the rules are set by white people or the white man or the white supremacists. It could be, but maybe I'm jaded and I really don't know. But what makes sense to me is that these things that are going on in our country are normally in the interest of capitalism. And again, there is some classism. There's things like that going on because those at the top, they want to stay on the top. Those at the top make unspeakable amount of money that we will never even know. And they will do anything that they can to stay up there. But those people are the top one, negative 0.1 or whatever percentage. Those are, I'll put it on a scale for you. We got 10 people. Those people that make all that money, those are the top one. And that's just the fact. The fact that that one person has so much say over the people shows to how weak and lazy that the people have become. We can't let this small, minute community of people control the majority. And we've seen these things all over the world. We've seen these things all over the world. We see it in the United States of America. The LGBTQ community. They're less than 5% of this population. And those who chose to identify and all this confusion, I'm non-binary and I don't know. And they change these things from day to day. And that's just a fact. I posted a video of a person. It says he's all freaking pom-poms and roses one day, and one day he really don't know what he is, and the next day he knows that he's a man, and it changes from day to day. So in this country and throughout the West, the vocal minority in this so-called democracy, which is not, it's a constitutional republic. You can look that up as much as you want. It's a constitutional republic. We are governed by the Constitution, and the majority dictates what happens. That's what we live in, a constitutional republic. It's not a democracy. So when you hear these Democrats talk about the loss of democracy if Donald Trump is elected, this democracy is already gone. It's already gone. And democracy is supposedly the people will have the answer at the end of the day as far as the elected official, the leaders, and all of this type of stuff. I do believe in leadership in some aspects, but I'm starting to question that in a lot of ways, because I think we do need leaders. But what I'm seeing in this United States of America is becoming more authoritarian than anything, which basically is the people in leadership. They're doing whatever the fuck they want to do. Example number one, I may not even have a second example. Oh yeah, I got two examples. So example number one is in Chicago, the citizens wanted to put a referendum to be voted on by the people to end the sanctuary city status. The government in Chicago, the city of Chicago, said, nah, that's not even going on the ballot, which takes away the people's right to choose. So in Florida, in North Carolina, there will be no Democratic presidential primary, which means the people in those two states, and this is just a start, the people in those two states, they cannot choose if they want to vote for Joe Biden or any of his opponents. And at this point, does any one of us know? I know who his opponents are, but do any of you know who any of Joe Biden's opponents are? It's called authoritarianism. And Democrats are doing it. So we'll point to example number 3. In the state of Colorado, because of some manipulating of words and lawyers speak and things of that nature, Donald Trump was taken off the ballot in Colorado, which again eliminates the people's choice to choose. Supreme Court came in, they overturned that. Donald Trump's back on the ballot. That was all done by your Democrats, and this is not a Democrat bashing session. These are facts that I've researched left, right, center, and all of these things. And so I don't know where I begin. I don't know where I'm going to end, but this is a good place to end.